Good afternoon and welcome to That's Football. It's Brentford versus Liverpool. It's the first watch-along of this Premier League weekend, and it's a good one. It's an exciting one. I think these are the sort of games where titles can be won and lost. Liverpool, there you can see your fixtures for the weekend. But yeah, I do. I think it is certainly one of those sort of games, as I said, where if you don't go and win at Brentford, then you know how tight it is at the top of the league at the moment. This is a must-win game for Liverpool, but it's not. What I'm trying to say is it's not a straightforward game for Liverpool to win, and I don't think anybody would say that. Interestingly enough, Brentford I think are playing Man City at the Etihad on Tuesday, so you'd expect them to lose their next two games, but it's by no means easy for Liverpool. Of interest is the return of Mo Salah, which I don't think any of us saw that coming, and I certainly I can see he's on the bench for Liverpool today. Kelleher in goal because of an injury to Alisson. So yeah, a few interesting things to start off with, but let's start off with that Liverpool team news. There it is, and as you can see, Kelleher in goal, Bradley at right back, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, McAllister, Endo and Jones, and then Jota, Nunez and Diaz. The return of Salah on the bench. Joe Gomez is on the bench. Good to see Andy Robertson back playing, isn't it? I know he has been back for a couple of weeks now, but it seems like a long time, especially with Trent gone as well. Adrian's on the bench because there's no Alisson, Gakpo, Elliott, Tsimikas, Gravenberch, McConnell and Kwanzaa. So good to see Salah back for them. The Brentford side, some people just asking about that. Well, obviously Tony's back involved now, but it's Flecken, Collins, Asia, me, Ruslov, Jensen, Norgard, Janelt, Reguilon, Tony and Morpay. And Brentford sort of steering the ship away from relegation problems at the moment with 25 points. A great win at Molineux last week. And they are more of a threat with Ivan Toney in the team. I don't think there's any two ways about that. But you'd expect Liverpool to win this, and it kicks off in 5 minutes' time. The players are just about to come onto the pitch. Starts a very big Saturday in the Premier League, and obviously we will be doing the Man City-Chelsea game at 5:30. But look, with regards to the league table, I think that if you don't win these sort of games, then it opens up the door for Man City, who, if they win their game in hand, will be top anyway. Goal difference is ridiculously close for these teams as well. It's certainly a must-win game for Liverpool, but I think that that Brentford will give them a game. Score prediction, Mark. Wales happening soon. Cheers, says Matthew. I think you're talking about the Six Nations, aren't you? Don't forget to support the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast as well. You can scan the QR code to go and give that a listen. And we did upload the full episode actually on this channel yesterday, if anyone caught it. And lots coming up with that. And big shout out to Linda as well. I think I actually missed this on the United stand. I apologise for this, Linda, but I think she's had a family bereavement. I haven't seen the full chat about it, but I know a lot of people have been offering support, and obviously please do give a shout out to Linda, who is in the chat. Rachel Todd there just saying, I'm sorry, Linda. I know the feeling. I lost my sister coming up to 9 years. So big shout out to Linda there. And Jem says massive love to Linda as well. We are a community, and it's nice to see people supporting each other there, as always. I don't like that. I don't know why that's there. Get rid of that. That's the time, 12:27. Nobody noticed that before. Right, let me get ready for the timer here. Let's maybe run a test, make sure that's working. That's fine. Okay, everything's in working order. Thank you very much. Score predictions for the game. I fancy Liverpool to win it 3-1. But look, I think these sort of games are the sort of games that if you don't watch them, you check it out in the second half and you see that Brentford are winning 2-0 and you think, bloody hell, I should have watched that. So it was sort of into that territory now, I think, with everybody. Oh, one thing I did want to bring into the show as well. Have you seen that Barcelona? I don't know whether it's going to be true or not. I don't know how good the source is, but apparently De Zerbi of Brighton has been highlighted as the number one target for Barcelona to replace Xavi. There are some United fans out there that would take Xavi De Zerbi as Ten Hag's replacement. There was some relevancy to Liverpool because they were being linked to him as well. I've got to say, I'm very happy for De Zerbi to stay at Brighton or go to Barcelona. I do not think that this is an obviously good selection. I do not think that it's a massive step up from Xavi, to be honest with you. And I do not think that De Zerbi is the right guy to take such a big job. This could be what happened with Potter at Chelsea. You know, it could be too big of a step. De Zerbi's background is dealing with Brighton and players that see Brighton and work for Brighton in a very, you know, organised and structured way. Barcelona is one of the biggest expectation clubs in the world. Look, who else are they going to go for? I completely agree, and De Zerbi is certainly a good coach. But I watch a lot of Brighton. I think we all do. And last season, Brighton were incredible. And this season, it's not just injury. They've been, I think, at times naive. I saw them at Spurs a couple of weeks ago. That wasn't the old Brighton. That they're not the Brighton of, you know, they're not dropping points because of injuries. I think you can say Newcastle have dropped points this season because of injuries. I don't think Brighton are exclusively dropping points because of injuries. I think they're also struggling from second season syndrome, and I don't think De Zerbi has implemented his tactics on that team as well as he did last season. So, look, I wouldn't go anywhere near him as a Man United coach. I said, look, with De Zerbi, I think he's got to do season 3 at Brighton. It's a bit like a TV series, isn't it? Season 1 was really good. Season 2 isn't. Let's give it a season 3 to see if he's lost his way or he's good. They do have Europa League football. I agree with that, but I don't think that's an excuse. I genuinely don't think that's an excuse. From what I've seen this season, I think there's too much rotation and there's no consistency. They're not the team they were last year. I think he changes his team too much as well, which is great when you're doing well, but he'll change his goalkeeper game to game. I just do not agree with that. You know, 1 week it's Steele, 1 week it's Verbruggen. He rotates that team way too much, in my opinion. I think he's a good coach, but I think the Barcelona job maybe a year too soon. Anyway, we're up and running here. Who is winning the Premier League? Get your comments in. Certainly lots to get involved in. Let's do an early either or just to get things rolling here. I like a bit of an either or. May as well keep it topical, actually. Who would you like as your manager next? De Zerbi or Alonso? We'll start with that. It's Louis says, as an Arsenal fan, I'm sad Klopp is leaving, but I don't blame him. Blue cards, inconsistent referees, to name a few, is the start of something. Will other great managers leave because of this? Says it's Louis. Well, yeah, I mean, look, we can get into a bigger conversation, can't we? I do this on Goldbridge Saves Football podcast every week, talking about things that are ruining the game. I mean, I don't know whether you saw it this week, but there's talk that the FA Cup, and I must actually just get a little bit more on this, but so yeah, TNT, which used to be BT, have agreed a 4-year deal to broadcast the FA Cup. It's currently shared between BBC and ITV. The final will be shown on free to air, but everything else will be shown exclusively. And I think that's a disgrace. I do. So basically, the FA Cup, which has always been on free-to-air view in the UK, is now going to go exclusively to another subscription service. But you know what? What makes me laugh about this is whoever's done this has done it to make money. But the FA Cup will die now. It will die. It's not interesting enough to go exclusively onto TNT. The Champions League doesn't get the viewership it used to get when it was on ITV. And it went to Sky and it went to TNT. I think it's on TNT now, isn't it? But what they don't realise about these subscription models is that you kill your audience. Like, I know loads of people who don't pay for TNT to watch the Champions League, so they don't watch it. But they used to watch it when it was on normal TV. And the same will happen with the FA Cup. The FA Cup doesn't have anywhere near the pull of the Champions League. So people will just stop watching the FA Cup. They just won't watch the FA Cup until the final. So they're actually damaging the tournament, really, for somebody to make a bit of money. That was my first thought. Nothing against TNT and nothing against the people who want to make money, but you'll damage the FA Cup. People won't want to watch it. People aren't going to go, oh, guess what's on TNT? It's Arsenal reserves up against Liverpool reserves on Sunday afternoon. I must get TNT. They'll go, I'll give that a miss. Whereas if it's on BBC, you'll go, well, it might be reserves against reserves, but I will watch it. But, you know, nothing's sacrilegious anymore, is it? You know, nothing's sacred. Brentford, shoot wide. Nothing's sacred anymore. Everything's got a price. Everything's got a price. I am doing City versus Chelsea, Luke. Yes, I am. Thank you. Anyway, thanks everyone who's tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner, that's football. Big year ahead. And I'm really starting to look forward to the Euros, actually. Lots and lots of football before then. But we're only 200 subscribers from 106,000. So please do subscribe, get involved. And I hope you're all having a good start to your weekend. I've made a bit of a mistake on my Fantasy Premier League. I must admit, I completely and utterly missed the fact that it's a double game week for 4 teams. And I haven't gone enough in. I haven't. I've only got 3 players. How many players have you got in? I really... You can go over top. You can go over the top with a double game week, but I really have messed up a little bit because I should have got a couple more Liverpool players in. Yeah, I've got Kelleher because he was my backup goalkeeper anyway. I haven't triple captained anyone, no. I've got Haaland as captain, I've got De Bruyne and I've got Kelleher, but I really should have brought in a couple more. So, you know, it might cost me. Brentford have started off really well here, though. I mean, I'm sure you're all keeping an eye on the game like me, and they have started off really well. Gems gave up on hers a few weeks ago. This is a world record for me, Gems. To get to mid-February and still be playing it is really unusual for me. So, yeah. Thoughts on Mbappe to Arsenal rumours, says it's Louis. Yeah, no chance. Mbappe to Arsenal rumours, they'd be better off coming out and saying Mbappe is not coming to Arsenal rumours because we'd believe that one more. He's not. Mbappe's going to Real Madrid. Am I the only one here who just doesn't understand the Mbappe stuff? Like, he's always going to Real Madrid. It's always been going to Real Madrid. And it was announced the other day he's going to Real Madrid. Are you doing 3 p.m. games, says Win? Not today. Not today because I've got this and I've got Man City at 5:30 and then I've got TalkSport at 7:30. So if I did the 3 p.m. games, I literally wouldn't be doing anything. I'd just be streaming from like now until 9 o'clock. I'd love to see Mbappe in the Premier League. I'd love to see it. But I don't see it happening, no. I think Klopp said it best himself, didn't he? You know, the clubs he knows in this league financially, it'd be very, very difficult. The only club that could probably do it with FFP is Man City, and I don't think Pep Guardiola would go near a player like that. Brentford are playing really well here. They're breaking away again here. Liverpool need to settle. I told you this game would be interesting. Liverpool need to settle. They really do. Cross comes in from... Was that Nunez who put that cross in? I think it was, yeah. Another good ball into Morpay. He's all on his own, though. Back into Tony. He loses it. Robertson wins the throw. Ian says Liverpool lost here last year. What happened to the Talk Sport show, Mark? Says Alex. It's on tonight at 7:30. Like it. I've been on it. I've been on it the last 2 weeks, mate, and I'm on it tonight. So nothing is the answer, in short. Thank you very much for your super chat, though. I think we're in for a very interesting summer transfer window, by the way. I do think that I'm not 100% a fan of this camera angle, by the way. Yeah, I think we're in for an interesting transfer window. I think Arsenal will do something interesting around the striker position. Keep your eye on Osimhen. I'm not saying he's going to Arsenal, but Tony as well. I think all these players moving. Some good strikers moving around this summer. Apparently it's Jermaine Genius on TNT. Apologies. God. There's just a collection of ex-players in the game at the moment that you just wonder. They're absolute trash at talking about football. They're really, really bad. Anyway, apologies. It's nothing to do with me. You might think I talk trash. Anyway, diversity. Yeah, I don't know where Tony will go. Where do you think Tony will go? Alonso got 81% of the vote over De Zerbi, actually. I don't know where Tony will go. I could see him in an Arsenal shirt, but... And I think, you know, as I said, Ollie Watkins, Tony, add them into an Arsenal team. I think it makes a big difference to them. Lovely play into Bradley. He's done really well. Goes for the shot, forces the save. He did really well there. Follow-up save as well. Good goalkeeping, and he's won a free kick. Alex Golding says, I missed both, unfortunately. Someone told me it was off, so I was lied to. Also, do you think Alonso is a bit overhyped? He's had a few good months, says Alex. There we go. Well, I think Alonso, Liverpool have to recruit Alonso. There's always going to be an element of risk. Good double save there by Cleffin for Brentford. A fantastic run by Bradley. I think that Liverpool have to appoint Alonso because it's the fear of missing out. It's FOMO, isn't it? The way I liken the Alonso thing is now is the perfect time to do it. Klopp's retiring. You know, you're not going to be watching Alonso's career develop as an ex-Liverpool player and go, oh, if the stars had aligned, because you could never get rid of Klopp, quite rightly, if you wanted to stay. But Klopp's retiring. Alonso's there. People are going to move for him. Now is the time to go for it. And I think that if they don't go for it because he might not be experienced enough, you'll always wonder what happened. He's the right man to go for. He's the right man. There's no guarantee it's going to work, but it is the right move to make. If they don't, you're always going to wonder. Thoughts on Carragher saying Arsenal could win the Champions League, says it's Louis. But, well, I've said that. I don't think that's a bad take. I mean, I've seen Bayern Munich a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, and I watched them play United before Christmas, and I don't think they were that good. I saw Real Madrid. Granted, a couple of players missing for Real Madrid. They look decent, and obviously you're always going to consider them. But beyond Real Madrid, is there anybody in Europe that makes you go, well, they're more favourites than Man City? Well, if Man City are favourites, Arsenal play in that league. I think Arsenal have got to be a consideration. I don't think they will win it, but I certainly, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be saying, well, we've got a chance. If the draw falls for us, we've got a chance. If Arsenal can avoid Man City and Real Madrid all the way to the final, I think they've got a good chance of making the final. I'd say Arsenal, unless there's a team in Europe that I'm missing, I'd say Arsenal are probably third favourites for me at the moment, behind Man City and Madrid. So yeah, I do think they've got a chance. But thank you. It's Louis. Thanks for your super chats. You can do that through the $sign. And if you want to join the members club, click the join button, get your badge in the chat. TF Ultras. Tottenham would be good for Tony, says Trey. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know where what I can do is, though. Ivan, a corner for Liverpool here. Feels a bit wrong typing in Ivan Toney next club odds, doesn't it? It's almost hypocritical, but yeah, Chelsea and Arsenal are the top two. Very close. So Valrunner says Brazil. There's a bit of a foul in the box there. Yeah, you know what? I forget all week, but that's your weekend fixtures, by the way, if you just want to see who's playing who. Can't wait for Luton, Man United tomorrow. Real buzz around United at the moment, but that's going to be a tough game. It's a bit like this today for Liverpool. They're not easy places to go, Brentford and Luton. Peter Rogers said, would you swap Alonso for Ten Hag? No. How do you like your eggs, Mark? Says Stu. Poached. Which I think is the most healthy option, but I love a poached egg. Yeah. TNA says it's sad that Salah confirmed he's leaving. I didn't know he had. Luke is allergic to eggs and nuts. Oh, here we go. Morpay should have hit that on the volley. Tony. Oh, I tell you what. Keeper Kelleher was quite happy to let that go wide, but for a minute there I thought, has he got his angles right? It's going to roll in the bottom corner. Not really any power on it, but good play. Really good play from Brentford again. Really good play. Jahak, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Get your badge in. Okay, I'll run a poll on this one. PI77S, we're going to run a poll on this one. You've set up the next either or. Well, it's a yes or no. Will Man United get top 4? Yes or no? And I'll give you a little bit of context to this because I've been talking about it on United Stand at the start of the week. So that's how the league table looks at the moment. United are 6th, they're 5 points behind Villa, and they are 6 points behind Spurs. But Villa and Spurs have got to play each other. And they've all got to play the top 3 as well. So there is a lot of turnaround to be had. Good question. Get in the poll. A lot of people saying not a hope in hell. Well, I think there is. I think there is a hope. I think Spurs are favourites, though. The more interesting thing for me is I think Spurs will get free kick on the edge of the box here for Liverpool. McAllister again. I think 5th place will get Champions League football. So the better question is, do you think Man United will get Champions League football? Because I think it's between them and Villa. That's definitely a free kick. Ivan Toney wins it. It's definitely not in the box. It's edge of the box. All eyes on Tony, whether he's going to try and move the spray. I mean, that was bloody ridiculous that VAR didn't pick that up. There are people in the chat saying penalty. Get yourself a pair of these. Nowhere near being in the box. Nicky said it was a dive. Oh, Andy says, Mark, you should look into what Madrid did with Morata when they bought him back for Juve via a buyback clause and sold him straight away to Chelsea in the same window. So that can be done. That's in context to United. Madrid being linked to Rashford via a Kubo buyback and then sell him straight to Man United and bring Rashford in. Which I was like, can you do that? Can you buy a player in a summer transfer window and sell them straight away? But apparently you can. So Tony's on this free kick. Brentford have started well in the first 17 minutes. I think Liverpool fans might be a little bit nervy about the start so far, but the free kick is straight at Kelleher. Don't know how long Alisson's going to be out for, but it's a hamstring injury, so it's a key point in the season to lose your goalkeeper, especially a goalkeeper like Alisson. He's so influential. But are Liverpool just not settled yet? They have got Mo Salah on the bench, but Carabao Cup final next week as well. Mark, if you can get 2 players from Madrid to join United, who would it be? Love the show, says Show. Easy. I love Vinicius Jr. and it'd have to be Jude Bellingham. Shifty says it should have been a penalty. The foul carried on inside the box. Liverpool at it again. No, it's where the foul starts, mate. It can't be a penalty when the foul starts outside the box. Yeah, well, there's a very big chance that Alisson will miss the cup final, won't they? So I presume Kelleher would play in that. Lovely play by Robertson again. It's down the left-hand side, but there's nobody in the box for him. Shifts it out to Bradley on the other side. But Brentford are working really hard at the moment in this game, and they've certainly been the team on top. Diaz into Robertson, into Nunez in the box. Cross is good, but there's no one there. There's no one really in there for Liverpool at the moment. Capes Crusader says Alisson wasn't going to play in the final anyway. Okay, have they been doing that rotation thing? A lot of people still talking about Mbappe to Arsenal. And Jahek says, is there any player from West Ham you'd like at United? Well, I think Paqueta's an interesting player. I do like Alvarez. It's only season 1, so I think you've got to see a little bit more of him. But I think he's been a good signing. Nice ball over the top to Ivan Toney. And gets the shot off, but good cover by Konate, and can't get the power there, Toney. But showed what he's all about. Kudus is a good player as well, Raj, yeah. I'd take Ward-Prowse as a bench player. I think his set-piece ability is interesting. But then again, as a bench player, you'd want him on the team, wouldn't you? Bowen would be a good squad player as well. Liverpool really need to start creating some chances in this game. It's been very one-sided. Look. Here's Robertson with the cross. And again, it's got to be worth a shot from Jota. Oh, good tip over the bar by Cleffin. And lovely technique by Jota. It is on the goalkeeper, to be fair. It's straight down his neck. Tyler says that Luton are going to bang Chelsea and City will bang... Luton are going to bang United and City will bang Chelsea. Oh, I'll tell you what, I bloody love Chelsea to go and get a result today. But, yeah. I don't think Man City have been firing on all cylinders lately, but we almost... we all expect them just to click in, don't we? McAllister with the front post cross. And I think there was a handball there by... Well, they want a handball, but the referee has played on. Diaz. Cross. Corner. Brentford players are moaning about it. I think if Liverpool had scored, this probably would have been looked at as a handball. Yeah, definitely. But it's not been picked up in real time, so it will go for a corner. Cross comes in, headed away by Toney, doing his defensive work. I am doing Man City against Chelsea, Toby, yeah. That's a good ball. Liverpool have had a good couple of minutes here. And they're going to win another corner as well. Ayub says, if it's between Liverpool and Arsenal to win the league, who would you rather have? Oh, God. Well, 66% of you say Man United will not get top 4, so we'll close that poll. Look, it's a good question. I was asked this last week on TalkSport, who I'd rather win the league between Liverpool and Man City, and it's Man City just because the rivalry with Liverpool matters. So I find Man City very manufactured. The same would be, look, if it's Arsenal or Liverpool, it's got to be Arsenal. I wouldn't enjoy it. There'd be no enjoyment in it, but it's better than Liverpool because the rivalry is more important. So Oh, I actually saw on Twitter today, I actually retweeted it. You know, somebody said on here a few weeks ago that at Man City, they have a stadium announcer to get the crowd singing. And I was like, you're joking. Loads of people have told it me, but I've never seen any evidence of it. Well, I saw it today. They actually do have a guy, after the goal, he gets the crowd going. So Kevin De Bruyne scored a goal and he's there on the stadium announcement. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne. And then everyone starts singing it. I'm like, oh my God. I don't hate anybody. Do I dislike Man City more than Liverpool? No, I respect Liverpool more than Man City. That's a different thing. And that's why the rivalry matters more. Free kick to Brentford. Ryan says, "Don't most places have that?" I've not been at I've not been at a ground where they've got that. They haven't got that at Old Trafford. Hey Mark, Neymar is back from injury and I think he still has a bit in him. What's your take on Neymar, says Rids? Good player. I wouldn't want him anywhere near United. Personality, baggage, not worth it. Few Man City fans in the chat. How long have you been supporting him in weeks? Let us know in the chat. I want to include the Man City fans. So how long have you supported them to the closest week? And we can have a bit of a chat about that. $115 weeks. Yeah, about right. Mark, what would it take for Man City to regain credibility, says 12th Man Toon? I don't know. I honestly don't know. They may well be that club that never has it, because if they get off with their charges, then realistically they've got off with it. But have they got off with it? Were they innocent or have they got off with it? And that's the thing, isn't it? I think there's a good chance they'll get found not guilty because there's so much money at stake, and you know, I don't trust the footballing authorities anyway. So is it in the Premier League's interest to relegate Manchester City? I don't really think it is. So then again, is it in their interest to make such a big case about 115 charges and then lose on all of them? It'd be massively embarrassing. So I don't really know what the outcome will be, but they do need to, you know, we need to get past that before anybody can start talking about respect and credibility. It would taint any club. I don't think Man City fans understand that either. Like, if it was 115 charges against Liverpool, they'd probably get more. I think there's a bit of a victim mentality with Man City fans, that they think that they're treated badly because they've got 115 charges. In some ways, they're not treated anywhere nearly as badly as they would be if it was Manchester United or Liverpool. They'd be far more spoken about it. Jem says Bevo's got more fans than City. Jordan says Suarez or Neymar. Neymar. And I was at Old Trafford in September. The Ultras are the conductors, says Thomas. And can you do a Jota versus Tony poll, says it's Louis. I like it. I like it. I like these. I like this. This is good. This is good. Jota or Tony. Either or. There you go. Very good suggestion. Coming in from It's Louis. Here is Jota on the run. It's a good run. It's a good tackle. And good defence by Brentford. Liverpool starting to come into this game a little bit more in the last 5 minutes. Brentford were looking very threatening in the first 20, but Liverpool starting to settle here now. Thomas says he supported Manchester United since 1952. Whereas there'll be certain people in this chat who, on a 24-hour clock, started supporting Man City at 1952 last night. Dan says, the irony of Mark talking about acting a victim. Have you seen your own Twitter, mate? Well, I actually run my own Twitter, mate, yeah. And you go, by all means, go and check it out. All I do is talk about football, so I don't know what you're talking about, victim. I'm not doing Xabi Alonso or Pep, Oscar. Are you having a laugh? I mean, I do think you've got to be very careful about recency bias. Like, Xabi Alonso is the right man for Liverpool to go for, but let's stop pretending he's the best coach in the world. There's been plenty of coaches who've done what he's done at Leverkusen, not specifically at Leverkusen, but there's plenty of up and coming coaches over the years, like Nagelsmann at Leipzig, and you know, there's Alonso could be the next decent thing, but he's not better than Pep at the moment. I'm not even convinced that Leverkusen will win the league, by the way. I still think Bayern will find a way. Brentford on the attack here. Morpay held on to it for too long, I think, but he's rode a tackle there. Shot from the edge of the box, just wide. First goal's going to be big in this game. I think if Brentford could get in front, they've got a determination there. I think Curtis Jones has gone down, and it's not a particularly bad challenge. They're always the sort of incidences where you think, what's happened? I can't see anything happen there on Curtis Jones, so keep an eye on that. Time for a stretch. Stu says Brentford are playing quite decent. Yeah, they've looked... I don't know whether it's the reintroduction of Ivan Toney, but they have looked quite good. Oh, forgot to tell you this. You know all the moaning I did about not getting my American... basically, I paid for next day delivery and it never came. And then it arrived this week. So, look, it was all for the American football, but this is what I got anyway. So, I ordered some Fanta pineapple because I'd never seen that before. Apparently, it's American. I've never seen Fanta pineapple in the UK, so I got that. Some crunchy cheese sticks, jalapeno flavour. Dr. Pepper cherry, which I've had before, which is quite nice. Big Red. Don't know what it is. Big Red. Don't know what it tastes like. Chupa Chups bubblegum. I mean, I'm never going to drink that. Don't know why I got that. Thomas, welcome to the Members Club. You're an absolute legend. Root beer. Never had that. Thought I'd try that. Cherry Coca-Cola, cherry Coke. It's true. I'm not going to drink them all. I'm just saying they came through. And then I got some of these scorching sour cream Pringles. We don't get those in the UK. So it finally came through. I'll let Seb have some of them later. Big Red could be like Tizer, says Mark Thomas. Yeah, I don't know. The U in Tony stands for... I don't know what that's all about, Cron. There is no U in Tony. And gifted a membership, Philip Sutton. Thank you very much. Jota's got 59% of the vote over Tony at the moment. Curtis Jones is carrying on here. We've had half an hour. Or is he carrying on? I don't know. We'll keep an eye on that. Root beer is horrible, says Barry. Shihab sends, when's Salah coming on? I would imagine Salah's only good for half an hour, isn't he? Maybe a bit longer. Joseph says, root beer's nice, it's just sweet like Coke. Right. You can get cherry Coca-Cola in the UK, Jake. You can. I don't know why I ordered that, because you can. Mark, you must be very healthy. I'm 46. Those snacks would have me on diabetes medication in days, says Nick P. Mate, I won't. It was only to try some of them. I wouldn't be devouring. I'd try and cut down on my sugar intake. You can get vanilla Coke in the UK, yeah. Oh, keeper's got hold of it. Root beer tastes like deep heat, says Wayne List. Lovely. My favourite. You can get the Chubba Chup one as well. I can see you in the chat, Robert. Yes. You're just not very interesting. Okay, Gravenberg's going to come on here for Curtis Jones. I like Gravenberg. I know he's a funny old player, Gravenberg. Real good prospect at Ajax. Didn't go well at Bayern. First season at Liverpool, I'd say it's been come-see, come-saw. Right, I'm going to close this either or. Jota got 59% of the poll, though. So there we go. Jota, 59%. And Nunez, 41%. Nice clearance there. I tell you what, if Jota can do it, he has. Nunez, he's through on one-on-one. Will he do the sweat? He scores with the chip. I tell you what a finish by Nunez that is, because even I, as a United fan who doesn't like Liverpool, I was nervous as he went through one-on-one there. He's basically one-on-one. He's got the FIFA sweaty pass to Jota for the open goal. He takes the shot on and dinks the keeper. And he does score, because if he gets that wrong, he looks an absolute prat. So that's a lovely little chip by Nunez. You've got to say, it's confidence. And Brentford caught on the break. Thomas Frank will be fuming about this. Just a long ball, but look at what happens there. It's a lovely header by Jota. It's a lovely assist by Jota. And I tell you what, if Nunez misses that, he's basically missed an open goal, because he could have just passed it to Jota. Lovely finish, that. Yeah, it is. It is. It's risky. Give it a look, you know, give him his credit, because in that situation, you're gonna look a right twat if you miss it. What happened to cooking with Goldbridge, says Isaac? It's a time thing. It's a time thing. It's still there. Keep, sell, bench. Vlahovic, Tony, Osman, says Thomas. I'll sell Vlahovic, I'll bench Tony, and I'll start Osman. Easy, Thomas. So Liverpool get the first goal here at a good time. 10 minutes before half-time. On the break, Jota massively involved in the goal as well. And Michael Oliver's checking something on VAR here. Morpay. No, it's not a foul, that. They can't give fouls for that, because they're never going to give a foul for that ever again. You're never going to get a foul for pushing the back like that ever again, because if they did, they already know. It's the Gabriel against Newcastle thing, isn't it? You can't do it. You can't give a foul for that. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 106,000. We're only 100 away. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. I lost my chat. There we are. We're back. Wayne List says, can you open up the root beer and we want your view? Oh, sod it. You only live once. You only live once. Let's do it. Let's do. Apparently it's got 0 sugar in it. So from a diabetes point of view, as people keep saying in the chat. And actually, it's very offensive to people with diabetes that they say stuff like that. I have a family member who has it, and I've had it from a very young age, and it's got nothing to do with that. So it is quite offensive to say that. But there is 0 sugar in it, and there is no caffeine in it. So what is in it? Carbonated water, caramel colour, sodium benzoate. It's cold. It is cold. Feels cold. Shall I do it? Shall I taste this for the first time? Shall I put this in my mouth for the first time and taste it? Root beer. Soda review with Goldbridge. Brentford really is a team that usually plays well, but the players can't take advantage of the opportunities that exist. Yeah, I agree with you on Brentford, actually. I think first 20 minutes they've been good, but it's the age-old... I see this a lot in Europe, actually. I see this a lot in Europe with La Liga teams beyond Barcelona and Real Madrid. There's a lot of teams in Europe who are technically very, very good in getting from back to front, but then in the final third, they don't have the quality. I can get it cold. I'll get someone to give me a glass of ice. I'm as cold as ice. So will you get me a little glass with some ice in it? We're just going to do a taste test of this drink. Okay. 2 for 1. Seb's going to come and taste it as well. He's going to get me some ice. We're going to pour it in and we're going to taste it together. Never been a fan of root beer, but I'm just fussy, says Jack. And in 5 years, keep, sell, bench, Hoyland, Nunez, Ferguson. Well, Joshua, I'm not Michael J. Fox. I'm not from the future. But Wayne List says, open the root beer. We want your view. You're going to get it, Wayne. Give it a decade or two, and the new and future generations of football will support City and Arsenal, Liverpool, United, etc. will dwindle, and it's a shame, says Jack. Another injury here. Jota's down. What are your thoughts of Mbappe leaving PSG and joining Madrid, says Newham. Inevitable. I think Osman will go to PSG, says Tumbleweed. Yeah, I do as well. In 5 years, keep, sell, bench, Hoyland, Nunez and Ferguson. Impossible to do, but at this moment in time, I would start Rasmus. Are you having a taste of it?
You sure?
And Ferguson. And there's a load, too much ice in there. Go and tip some out. I did say a glass of ice, but I didn't mean full glass of ice. I want some drink in my water, in my cup. I would start Hoyland, I would bench Nunez, and I would sell Ferguson at the moment, Joshua. This don't look good for Jota. That's a big blow for for Liverpool. Okay, let's get ready to do this. We've got our glass. You know the rules. Big up the glass. Big up the ice. Big up the Americans. Big up the root beer. Right, let's do it. There's an injury going on here, Seb. So we've got our in. You ever tried root beer? No, you haven't, have you?
No.
Oh my God. Whatever happens, they told me to do it. Whatever happens, you can take that away. Oh my God, it smells like deep heat. Doesn't smell good, mate. That does not smell good. It does actually smell like deep heat. Let's let it settle. Eminem says, do you think that there's a chance that Mbappe would join Liverpool? No. Let's get ready. Shall I go first? It actually smells like deep heat if you've ever tried it. Salah's coming on here. Right, here we go. It doesn't taste as bad as it smells. It's actually not that bad. I don't mind it, Gems. It's all right. What do you think?
Good.
I quite like it. Go on then, you take the rest of that, and then you and Maddie can try it.
Okay.
I'll have that. You can tell I like it. I've had a bit more, mate. You can tell I like it, can't you?
Yeah.
That is nice with ice and cold. I tell you what, for me, with rest in peace, I mean, not rest in peace, he's not dead. Thoughts with Jota, but that looks bad. That looks really bad. That's such a shame for Liverpool. I think he's been their best player for the last 6 weeks. And he's in a bad way there. There'll be Man City fans cheering in the chat. They won't admit it. I mean, it's not a bad sub to have, Salah for Jota, but it'll be a big loss for that. But look, on a positive, root beer is quite nice. I like it. Mini bridge for the win, says Jack. It's nice. I've got to say the description of of deep heat is absolutely spot on. It does definitely smell like deep heat. And if you don't know what deep heat is, you've never played the game. I've played the game. If you've played the game, Gary, if you've played the game, I'm telling you now, deep heat is, you know, that deep heat smell to a footballer is like scratch and sniff. It's the best category. It's sexual, but it's not really. It's what you spray on when you get hurt, but it doesn't taste as bad. Regwellon's just been booked. No, it tastes like it smells like deep heat, but it tastes all right. I quite like that root beer. Root beer for the win. I'm going to give it a 7. I'm doing Chelsea versus City. Yes, Connor. And then I'm on TalkSport 7:30 till 9. Lovely ball into Nunez, into Diaz. Didn't fancy it. Wasn't quite good enough. You feel like Liverpool might need to put this game away. 8 minutes added on, but that's because of 2 injuries. I like ginger beer, Kai. It's nice. Krabby's is an alcoholic ginger beer we get over here. It's lovely. Got to have the ice with that. What about a Goldbridge food review channel? I'd love to. Describe the taste. Well, it smells like deep heat there, but then you taste it. And there's a very faint sort of deep heat nasal experience, but really it's just quite refreshing. It doesn't taste like Coke, but it has got sort of like a flat Coke taste, but not as sugary. I think it's all right. What's it all about? What is it all about? Is a sweet North American soft drink traditionally made using the root bank of the Sassafras tree. Apparently the UK equivalent is dandelion and burdock, which I do like, and it doesn't taste like that. You can, yeah, root beer deep heat is a popular thing. Somebody says it tastes like carbonated deep heat. Here's Luis Diaz into the box. Cuts it back. Oh, I think Nunez took it off a tap in for Salah. They need the second goal here. Mark, I had it from Grazing Shed Taste Mouthwash, says Matthew. Big up Roots, big up beer, big up ring pools, big up cans, says Facing Dexter. I've got a hangover. What's the best cure, says David. I always think best cure for hangover is good food. Nunez scored the first goal, Apollo, but Jota's gone off injured. If you've got Jota, anybody got Jota in their FPL? Because if you have, you're not getting a double game week. You know the rules. He did get an assist. He would have been a brilliant double game week pick, and I suspect some people will have gone for him. Afi says 2026 World Cup safety concerns. Louise can't believe I like it. Most of the chat have got Jota. Some of you got Nunez though, so well done. Look, as B-Dye says there, triple captained him. I think it's a clever move. Not anymore, but Khalid says, so Reguilon left United and just went right to Brentford on loan. No idea why we sent him back. We clearly need him. Yeah, money, Khalid, money. It's all about the money, money, money. Oh, we've got, you might have seen it on my Twitter, actually. I've just retweeted it. We've got Joe Bellingham on the channel next week. An interview. Not Jude, Job. Another good player coming through. Not Jude, Job. Bloody Jude. Yeah, got Jude Bellingham on the channel next week. Yeah, no, Job, his brother at Sunderland. Get some vanilla ice cream in a frosted mug and pour some root beer over it. It's called a root beer float, says Jonathan. Anyone you know going to Cheltenham next month, says Kenneth. Well, probably me. I was there last year. Good cross by Reguilon. No, too much height on it. Oh no. Bad control by Tony. Evelyn says, I support Man City because I got into football about a year ago. Brandon says, would you say you're a snob, Mark? No. No, definitely not. Are we doing Arsenal Burnley? No. I never really understood why Joe Bellingham left Sunderland. I presume it was... left Birmingham. I presume it was money. Brentford need to change here, says Salin. Well, these games are always frustrating if you're an Arsenal or a City fan because you can see, you know, Liverpool fans will be watching City later and Arsenal will as well. And they'll probably see City destroy Chelsea and go, this was never a game they were going to drop points in. But when you're in a title race, and I've been in plenty, I've played the game. You watch a game like this and you go, you know what? Brentford could get something out of this. You're watching this as an Arsenal fan and as a City fan, and you're going, Brentford can get something out of this. And you know Liverpool are probably going to win it, but you're like, they can. I am doing City Chelsea, yes, Rick. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We're about to hit half-time here. 8 minutes had it on. Bad injury to Jota. I'd say Brentford have been decent without any final product. Liverpool, bit shaky first 10-15 minutes, but have worked their way back in and they've got that goal now. And that's half time. Stop the clock. Let's get the stats carousel up and running. And remember, our stats carousel is sponsored by OneFootball. You can download it for free through the link in the description or scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Get all your latest breaking football news, transfer news on OneFootball for free. All your latest score updates as well. And it has the individual player stats for you. So if you want to check a player out and see what their pass rate is like, etc., you can do that. Never been to Brentford. Just looking at the surrounding area there. So, look, Liverpool have actually had 61% possession. They haven't had as many shots as Brentford, but they've had more on target, 4-3. No corners for Brentford, which sort of shows that their attacks have been on the break. Liverpool have had 5 corners, more progressive attacks. Way more passes. Pass completion rate for both teams isn't great. 79% for Liverpool, 70% for Brentford. And obviously there's been a lot more fouls from Brentford, who are working hard but don't really seem to have quality in the final third, which is no reflection on Ivan Toney, who I think is a quality player in the final third, but I don't think that in the final third the combinations have really been that good for Brentford, and ultimately that's why they're losing 1-0 at the moment. Would you consider Prats of the decade being Arteta outers, says Thomas? Well, they still exist as well. I left Palmer on the bench, says Christian, for FPL. Watch him score a hat-trick now. I've done the same. So we'll both be Prats. But I think we'll be happy Prats if Palmer scores a hat-trick, because that means they'll probably win. Why was a comment saying Mark's second favourite team is Liverpool removed? Seems a weird comment, says Elite, says Ant. I'm not a moderator, and I certainly don't give a shit about people saying stuff about Liverpool or Forest or Arsenal or any other silly little childish nonsense, because it doesn't bother me. But I'm not a moderator, so I don't know. Mark, have you listened to Alan Partridge from the Oast House? Says Billy. I have. Yeah. Are the Glazers just off the hook now, or what, says Daz? I think everyone's just living on the hype train of the Ineos, isn't it? So they are off the hook in a sense, yes. Well, they are off the hook, actually. You know, there won't be any protests or anything like that, I suppose. You're right. McAllister's made 3 fouls, says Lucas. Yeah, I don't know why they're not considered fouls there. You're right. I don't know what they're doing with that, those stats. Tam says, to be fair, Mark, you do sound like you enjoy seeing Liverpool and Arsenal score. No, I don't. What it is people are very tribal, and therefore they can't be in love with football. They're only in love with their football team. But the reason I started That's Football all those years ago is because I've always watched a lot of football. And when I watch football, I enjoy it. And if I see a good goal, I'll say it's a good goal. And if I see somebody get injured and it's a bad injury, I'll say that's a bad injury. I'll comment on a Liverpool title race. I'll comment on an Arsenal title race. I'll comment on Everton being in a relegation battle. And I'll make it interesting for myself because I enjoy it. Some people just can't do that. That, you know, their football enjoyment stops and ends with their team. That's absolutely fine. But there's a hell of a lot of people out there that watch beyond their team. And that's what those people struggle with, unfortunately. Mark, you seem like you love a good comedy. What's your favourite British comedy, says Ryan? I like Only Fools and Horses, is probably my favourite. What's your Man City versus Chelsea score prediction, says Reese? City win. Yeah, I don't think... The only hope in that game is that Chelsea do tend to play up. And what I mean by that is they tend to play better against better teams. So, but look, Man City should deal with Chelsea quite comfortably, really. What are your thoughts on Rooney boxing KSI, says it's Louis. I think look, I don't know whether it's true. It'll do big numbers, but how do I say this without being disrespecting people I like? I like Rooney and I like KSI, but it's a bit like EastEnders. It's a bit like comparing EastEnders to The Godfather. It's acting, but it's not. And if Wayne Rooney wants to get in the ring, everyone will watch it. But, you know, it's Ollie Murs to Bono. It's just people. It's popular, but it's not popular because it's high end. It's popular because it's entertainment. That's probably the nicest way I could have put it. I'll leave it at that. Has Delo been United's best player this season? Says Monks. No, it's Garnacho. And Cormac says, Mark, really looking forward to the Euros, but as someone from Ireland, I'm scared that England could win the Euros. Just need a Southgate masterclass of a Phillips and Henderson midfield against a good opponent, says Cormac. I think England are going to win the Euros. I'm looking forward to it. But I think England are going to win the Euros. And I think if we don't win the Euros, it will be on Southgate. City seem to get great referee treatment, says Dr. Pepper. Thank you very much, mate. And yeah, I've done that one. Okay, lovely stuff. No, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, you look at England. All right, the goalkeepers. You know, Pickford's okay. I wouldn't pick him, but it shouldn't really cost us winning it. You've got people like Trent and Kyle Walker. You've got Stones. You know, Maguire's good at that level. You've got Luke Shaw and Chilwell if they're fit. And then it gets really interesting. You've got Declan Rice. You've got Jude Bellingham. You've got Phil Foden. You know, there's Saka, Harry Kane. Just so many fantastic talents that England have got, and depth. You know, you've got a lot of depth there. So we've got a really good chance of winning it. Yeah. I tell you what, just talking about Prats, though, I saw something yesterday. I mean, this is why stats are, for me, secondary to the eye test. I don't trust people who tell me that Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in Premier League history who aren't even 25, because you haven't watched the Premier League. So how can you tell me he's the best player in history? Oh, well, but I've seen the stats. I've seen YouTube clips. Yeah, but I lived it, and many other people did. I watched Scholes week in, week out. I watched Gerrard week in, week out. I watched Lampard week in, week out. You know, recency bias can't define who is better, De Bruyne or anybody else, unless you've watched it all. It's just hipsters. But I saw something yesterday, and it was that Saka has got more goals than Ronaldo had at his age. And I'm like, I don't get what that stat's all about. I don't. What are we trying to get at here? Are we trying to say that Saka's better than Ronaldo was at that age? That it doesn't make any sense to me. So Saka scored more goals than Ronaldo had scored at this age in the Premier League. But there's people then going, well, Saka's better than Ronaldo was at his age. That's the problem. Oh, Saka's better than Ronaldo was at that age. No, he's fucking not. Scott McTominay's got more goals than Liverpool's entire midfield. Is he better than all of them? No, it's not. It's ridiculous. And this is why stats are very dangerous, because they can be manipulated into silly arguments that the eye test will always defeat. Cristiano Ronaldo may have less goals than Saka did at that age, but he's a way better player at that age than Saka is. I like Saka. I think he's a good player. I think there's a debate about whether Saka is world class, actually, which is an interesting debate. But a comparison with Ronaldo at that age is just ridiculous. It's not about goals. It's about quality. Goals do not define a player being better than somebody else. They just don't. Assists don't define a player being better than anybody else. I don't know how many assists and goals Gascoigne got in his career or Zidane got in their career. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but they're two of the best players I've ever seen. And they may not stack up against a Gerrard or a De Bruyne, but they wipe their arse with them. So the eye test is the test, not stats. I'm an Arsenal fan. I watch all your watch-alongs, and I wonder how many people are Brentford and Liverpool fans and how many are rival fans, Paul, says Zar. Yeah, we can do that. I'll do that. It's a good one. I'm trying to get my head around it. Delo has definitely been United's best player, Mark. I have no idea why he doesn't get the credit he deserves, says Nacho. Because he's not been the best player this season. I like Delo, but he's not been the best player because a month ago in December, people were selling him. So how can he be the best player across the season when I do the United Stand and I speak to thousands of people every day and I know what their opinions are because I read them every day? Delo is a recency bias player of the year. Literally a month ago, people were selling him, demanding Wan-Bissaka play. He's had a good month and now he's player of the year. He's not player of the year. It's recency bias. He's a good player. He's doing really, really well, but he's not player of the year. And that's not even my opinion. That's just from doing the United Stand this season. I know the shit Delo's had all year, and I know for a fact it's recency bias that people are now waking up to the fact that he's doing well and trying to pretend that he's player of the year when he's not. Thank you very much. I want to do this poll that somebody just asked about anyway. What was it? We'll call it an either or. Are you a Liverpool fan? Are you a Brentford fan? Or are you an other fan? Get in the poll. Not my words. The words of somebody in the chat. Rate these managers 1 to 5 and explain your reasoning. Yeah, Jack, I'm not doing a bloody essay for you. I know you've done a super chat, but this is not the Jack Glancy sets Mark Goldbridge a bloody thesis. I'm not giving an explanation. Right, 1 to 5. Sir Alex Ferguson, Wenger, Pop, Klopp and Jose. My delusional mate thinks Pep and Wenger are better than Sir Alex. Sir Alex Ferguson is the best manager out of all those by a hell of a long way. And anybody who thinks otherwise was up their mum's chuff in the year 2000. Number 2 is Pep. Number 3 is... It's Wenger or Jose. I mean, Wenger redefined football in this country. And again, you'd have to be... If you're up your mum's chuff in the 90s, you wouldn't know that. Wenger redefined football in the 90s. But he stayed too long. Wenger doesn't get the credit because most people in these conversations weren't alive when Wenger was doing what he did. I think Wenger or Jose, for me, I'd probably have to have a longer conversation. So Klopp would be number 5. But you're right, they're the top 5, definitely. I'm sorry, but Delo has been most consistent. Aiden, no, he hasn't. Anthony Gordon for these Euros says, how can Delo be our most consistent player this year when I present the United Stand, the biggest Manchester United community in the world, and for the last 5 months, most of that chat and most of social media has been saying sell Delo and get rid of him. And now suddenly he's our most consistent player. It is the pure definition of recency bias, and you are evidence of what recency bias is. Because recency bias basically makes people obsessed with something that is based on recent activity. 2 weeks ago, Foden was better than Saka. Last weekend, Saka's better than Foden. I wonder why. Figure it out. What do you think about Lawrence? I don't know, Fraser. And I'm an Arsenal fan, and I watch all your watch-alongs. I wouldn't have done that one from Z. It's heating up a bit. Thoughts on Taylor Swift, says Aaron. Fuck off. Look, I don't mind her music. I don't actually really have a thought on Taylor Swift, actually, at all. I don't really have a thought at all. But that Super Bowl final, they score a touchdown in overtime in one of the best Super Bowls I've seen. The Super Bowl touchdown guy gets about 2 seconds of the camera before it cuts to Taylor Swift. This would be like England winning the World Cup, Harry Kane scoring the winner in extra time, getting 2 seconds and then cutting to his wife. I was just like, I want to watch American football. I don't care about Taylor Swift. That was my thought on it. Nitro says Delo is a 1 month wonder, goes up and down. No, I like Delo. And I don't think he gets appreciated enough by our fan base. But he's not player of the year. Why do you think Man United has so many international fans, says Ardush? Because we're fucking brilliant, mate. We're the best team in the world. Anthony Gordon for the Euros, says Shell. I would take him, yes. Yes, I would. Nick P says, I find it weird people want to question why you like a goal or performance by other teams. The whole channel is about the enjoyment of the game, says Nick P. Haters gonna hate, Nick P. Haters gonna hate. I don't care. It used to bother me probably about 5 years ago. I probably used to read too many replies and too many comments and, I was watching a podcast actually over Christmas, and it's not rocket science, but I needed to hear it again. And it was like, I'm so busy, not me. This person was saying, I'm so busy and there's so many things I want to do. I'll never get time to do them all. I won't live long enough to do everything I want to do. So why should I waste 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or half an hour of my day every day reading people slagging me off? It just bothers me. So why read it? And it's true. Too much going on to be wasting your time with people who want to write bad shit about you. Let them waste their life doing it. That's what I say. Okay, right. We are about to start off here. I just think I'm just going to keep doing what I do with the community that we've got, being honest to the opinions I have, and some will agree with it, some won't. I'll explain my point, and we'll move on together. Ivan Toney's gone down injured here. If he's not been connected with there, I'd be very worried. Oh, it's all right. It's caught him on the calf. He'll be fine. I thought he pulled his calf. Darwin Núñez has gone off at half time. So the poll is 36% Liverpool fans, 60% other fans, and 4% Brentford. I've been asked to do this one by the chat, and I did spot it, and I quite like it. So it's another either or, and it's Garnacho or Doku. Mark, if England do not win the Euros, Southgate has to go. He's wasting too many talents just to warm the bench. He's meant to be going anyway, Nitro. I don't know why he's gone like that. Jack says Taylor Swift fans are vicious, Mark. Mark, I don't know. That's irrelevant to me. I'm not in that. I don't give a shit. You know, it's not my kind of music, but fair play if people like it. I've got, One Direction existed. I'm not interested in that. I'm just saying the Super Bowl coverage was a bloody joke. You win. I loved that game. And they cut to Taylor Swift, within seconds of a winning touchdown. I was just like, what are we doing here? Is NFL that desperate that it needs to live off Taylor Swift? I mean, it's not a very good business model if that's what you're doing. That should have been left to play for at least a minute. You should just be watching the player reactions. In relation to, well, you can see it just went on the screen there, but we have seen some substitutions at half-time. Brentford are the same. They've not made any changes, but Liverpool have made 3. Two injuries in the first half. Jota and Jones off for Gravenberch and Salah, and Núñez has gone off for Gakpo. I tell you what, I was saying that I don't think I've done my FPL very well. I think I've probably, you just never know. I've probably got away with it, because if I was going to get any Liverpool outfield players, I definitely would have gone for Jota and Núñez, and they're both off at half time. So are they going to play? I don't know. Núñez has a knock. Here's Diaz to Gakpo. Aiden says, you been singing any more 1D? No. How many goals a season would you score playing up front for City, says Carter? Honestly, if I got myself match fit, I'd fancy myself to score... Lovely goal. Oh, lovely run by Diaz, but he shoots over the bar. I'd fancy myself to score at least 5 Premier League goals from open play for Man City. Look, that Taylor Swift thing, right? I love Oasis. If Oasis reformed and Noel and Liam were at the Euros final and England win it, I'd be furious if the camera cut to them 2 seconds after the winning goal. I don't want to see them. I want to see the football. That's my point. I'd score 5 from open play with Man City. Of course I would. As long as I was match fit, just hang around the box. I guarantee I'd score 5. Under says you wouldn't touch the ball. Mate, you're being disrespectful to Man City. Not talking about how good I am. It's about playing for Man City. You play for that Man City side, you're going to get cutbacks. You're going to get chances. Easy. You've got no idea about what level of football these lads are playing at and how you'd settle in. Oh, ball over the top for Salah. Is he back? Is he back? No, he's missed. Mark, I've been a member of United Stand for 4 years. Have been a fan for longer. I'm always defending you versus your haters on X. How do you deal with them? Ignore them. Because Twitter's a cesspit. Twitter's the worst. And the best. I think that football Twitter is great, but it's also, and always has been and always will be, a cesspit of faceless accounts who can say what they like with virtually no comeback. I mean, I had somebody this week clipping me up, calling me a racist. There was nothing racist in it, but people were in the comments going, "Yeah, it's racist," because they just want to hate you. They'll see what they see. They'll see an opportunity to try and cause you some pain or whatever like that. Why should I take any notice of it? I don't. Let them do it. Let them swim in their own toxicity. It used to bother me years ago because I always want to see the good in people, but there's just horrible people out there. Don't waste your time on them. That's my advice. Focus on the good people in life. Leave the shit behind. You waste a lot of time trying to clean off the shit. But it's worth it. Rupert, if you've not heard from us, then it's not, it's I don't know what it was, Rupert, but I know all the emails will have been checked from this week. So if you've not heard anything back, it's obviously not a goer. Even as United hater, it's hard to compare Garnacho to Doku because one has Pep as manager and the other has Ten Hag. Says SLR. Well, Doku's not as good as Garnacho. The 3 p.m.s today. Let me just pause that for a moment. So Burnley Arsenal could be quite difficult. I'm going to be keeping an eye on the 3 o'clocks, and I normally would have done a 3 p.m. watch along because it's we've got the scores updating on all of that now. So it would have been nice to do it, but I just can't do from 12 till 9 o'clock tonight. It's ridiculous, and I've got to do some stuff for the United Stand between 3 and 5. So if there was 2 of me, we need AI bridge really, but that will never work. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on the 3 o'clocks, but I'm not doing a 3 o'clock. But I will be back for the Man City Chelsea game. But I think Burnley Arsenal should be straightforward for Arsenal. Fulham Villa is probably the one I'm keeping the eye on the most actually. Newcastle Bournemouth's quite interesting. Forest West Ham interesting as well. Tottenham Wolves as well. There's some good 3 o'clocks today. I'll give it that. There are some good 3 o'clocks today, which isn't always the case. Be a good show on Talk Sport tonight, actually. Lots to talk about. I'm doing the 3 o'clocks next week, though, because there's no 12:30. Arsenal Newcastle are at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to do Arsenal and Newcastle at 8 o'clock next Saturday, but I am going to do the 3 o'clocks because Man United are playing... oh, no, I won't be doing the 3 o'clocks on here. Man United are playing Fulham at 3 o'clock next week. We're on Saturday at 3 o'clock next week. Fucking hell, didn't realise that, you fucking knobhead. No, it's the 3 o'clocks after that. It's the 2nd of March. Goal! McAllister, 2-0. Wasn't even looking, didn't see it. Shocked myself there. Yeah, Saturday the 2nd of March, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3 o'clockers at the same time. Yeah. But Brentford just running out of steam here. Let's watch the goal back. It's just a long hump out from the keeper. Good play by Gravenberg into Salah. What an assist by Salah that is to McAllister. There's a player I think is doesn't get the credit he deserves. I think I've been on this train from very early on. I think Alexis McAllister for Liverpool is, and some people don't get it. One of my mates who's a Liverpool fan, he won't have it about Alexis McAllister. I say all the time, he's been one of your signings of the season. He will not have it. He will not have it. Free this 222 says Goldstein willing to trade Mainu, Garnacho and Rashford for Mbappe and have McTominay play instead of Mainu. Thoughts? I don't believe that that's a true comment. Free this. I mean, look, I know Goldstein's desperate to try and get in with the youth, so he starts talking shit, but I don't think even he would say that. Trading Mainu, Garnacho and Rashford for Mbappe and have McTominay play instead of Mainu. Yeah, he wouldn't say that. I mean, this is a guy who used to be on MUTV and present the snooker and has now turned into, you know, a Bonglahore's right-hand man for stupid punditry. I mean, he obviously sits there on the tube, doesn't he, writing out what shit will I go viral for. But I don't believe that. So I've fallen into the trap myself. Which rare area of England has worse football teams, says Football 454. Statistically, it's probably Bristol for population. They've never had a Premier League team. Right side, thank you very much for your super chat. When is Seb taking over, says Carter? Well, he's got to like football to do. I mean, he does like football, but... Bart says, with the recent good results of Luton, do you think they will still go down? Well, we need them to lose tomorrow. Philip Jones says, is there anyone decent on TalkSport? Well, there's me. 7:30 tonight. No, there are some good. I like Ali McCoist. He's on there. I like Jim White. He's good. Simon Jordan would be okay if he wasn't a coward. Or a snob, whatever you want to call it. I.e. he won't do any content with me. Goal for Brentford, surely. Oh, no, over the bar. Offside as well. More pay. What happened to win, lose or draw, says Cap? I missed it again, so we might end up knocking that on the head, really. I enjoyed doing it, but if you can't do it every week, it sort of ruins it. And it was my fault because of the bloody Super Bowl. Looks like a bad injury for Jota. Garnacho beats Doku 62% to 38%. Who was the better player? Let him speak, Simon, says Cott. He won't let me speak. He won't let me speak. I've always wondered how the TalkSport thing works with you. Do they get annoyed if you're a bit late to broadcast? There must be rules to follow, says Nick P. I'm never late. I'm always there at 7:30. I've never been late. I'm just turning the sound up a little bit. It was down a little bit low. Thanks for letting me know there. Bradley, ooh, just over the bar. Thanks for the content, Mark, says Heart of Daedra. I've played the game. Steve says, just a good comment by Steve, even though it's negative. I don't care. Steve says, just because Simon doesn't want to talk to you doesn't mean they're cowards. You're too biased with your arguments, and if people disagree with you, they quite often say derogatory things about their knowledge, says Steve. Now, you don't watch my content, Steve, so jog on. I've never, ever, when I've been on the kickoff, when I've been on Sky, when I've been on Talk Sport, when I'm taking calls from the public, in a professional environment that is not mine, I'm always professional and fair to people. Wild Bill says, well said, Steve, but it's not well said, it's stupidly said. On my content, I can be quite abrupt and rude in this situation because you want to try doing shows with 12,000 people when some people are trying to wind you up. You fall into the trap. I agree with that. But when I'm doing professional stuff, I've never liked that. Carter says, Goldbridge versus Simon Jordan charity boxing fight. Look, as I said before, I don't take any notice of the hate because that's just going to drag you down. But I'm not going to not be honest. A lot of people often say, why don't you do content with that person? Why don't you do content with that person? Why don't you do content with that person? Well, I'll give you a little insight into this industry. Some people are terrified of doing it. I don't need to name names. You know who they are. They're terrified of it, and yet they'll hold up a camera or they'll sit on your screen and they'll come across as Mr. Billy Big Bollocks. But the truth is, they're like a boxer scared to take a fight. Like they're all. I've got no time for people who gob off about opinionated things but are terrified of doing a conversation. Like I was down at Talk Sport about 6 months ago. And they said, will you go on Drive, which is Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent when you're down for a meeting? I said, yeah. Got down there, Andy Goldstein doesn't want you to go on. I was like, what do you mean he doesn't want me to go on? Oh, because you've had a bit of an up and down on Twitter before. I was like, so he's a coward? Well, I wouldn't go that far. I said, well, it's true. Why can't we just... I'm down here anyway. I'm in the studio. I should be on for half an hour having a chat. It is what it is. I go to sleep well at night because I drink Ovaltine. Steve is taking this too seriously. He doesn't realise it's a computer game, says Muzab. And what are your top 3 on-field positions to sign in the summer for United and top 3 to sell? Says Patrick. We've got to get rid of some of the centre-backs and we've got to sign some of the centre-backs. 3 subs for Brentford here. My priority positions for United are a holding midfielder, a centre-back and a striker, but we need more than that. And I would be selling... Well, Ericsson would go. One of the wingers has got to go, starting with Sancho, and you've got to do something around the centre-backs. But it's more than 3 in, 3 out. Yeah, definitely. Good comment, though, Patrick. You know who interviewing Jose with Rio is laughable, says Alex G. Oh, but you know what? I'll never understand that relationship. But also, I'm not going to sit here and be bitter, you know. I had a Rasmus interview that we worked for off our own back with no reputation. I've not played for United. We've got no in. It took a long time to do it, and there was a lot of kickback from it. But you know what? I ain't got no problem with people doing stuff like that. I don't really care about stuff like that. You know, if Rio gets an interview with Jose Mourinho, it's because he was an ex-legend of the game, isn't it? You know, I ain't got a problem with that at all. My biggest issue with someone like Rio would be, you know, ex-Man United player who won't do any content with the biggest Man United community channel because he's mates with somebody who's got an issue with us. And I just think, well, you know, we're only here for one life. We're here for one life. I think people would be very interested in a bit of content with me and Rio, but he won't do it because he's got a mate who doesn't like me. And I'm like, God, grow up. We shouldn't. We work in an industry where that sort of thing shouldn't matter. Just do the content. Simple as that. Just do the content. Dean Smith is our new coach. Any opinions? MLS, says Chris. I don't know who you're talking about. I know who Dean Smith is. I just want to make good content. That's all I want to do. And barriers in this space are frustrating. Dean Smith is thinking big at Charlotte FC. That's not a name for his girlfriend, is it? That's a team. Because otherwise that headline means something completely different. This is MLSsoccer.com. Dean Smith thinking big at Charlotte FC. Is that football related or is he just on a date? I don't know. Yeah, like Move says, it's just stupid why people hold such weird grudges. I just want to make content. I don't want to go around the I don't want to go around the house for Christmas. I don't begrudge people doing stuff that I don't get opportunity to do. Maybe I did 5 years ago, but not anymore. I just want to make good content. You know, I might not be doing this in 5 years' time. So the time that I'm doing it now, I want to make good content. And good content means, you know, not having barriers put up for things to happen. I use the boxing analogy because it's true. You know, so much. I love boxing. And so much over the last 20 years, I haven't seen fights that should have happened because of politics and money. And I'm like, fucking hell. So we're going to die not seeing that fight happen. Give the public what they want. Will Simon Jordan ever have you on the Jim White show? No, I don't think they will. So, Jim White's a lovely guy. I shared a car with him before Christmas. Really nice guy. Yeah. Anyway, back to the football. 2-0 to Liverpool. Very, very, very good result for them so far, considering Brentford have done okay in this game. But look at what it means for the league title. They play first today. It's a Super Saturday of Premier League title race action because Arsenal have got Burnley at 3 o'clock and then we're back on here for Chelsea against Man City. I think they all win today. And I thought that the toughest game was this one. So I can't see Arsenal not beating Burnley because Burnley are terrible. And I think Man City will have too much for Chelsea as well. But there's still a chance for Brentford to get back into this. 2-0 can be a dangerous scoreline. I've loved the stream today, by the way. Really enjoyed it. Not that I don't enjoy others, but we've had a wide range of either-ors and some good conversations. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Got some brilliant... I'm talking about content. I've got a piece of content I'm doing next week. It might be a little bit niche, but really excited about it. Got Job Bellingham on the channel. I think that's going up on probably going up on Monday as well. Keep an eye out for that. Interesting interview. I mean, how good can he be? I don't know. How good do you think he can be? We're 50 subscribers away from 106,000, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved. New vertical live streaming is here. I don't think I'd like vertical streaming on... Oh, Salah's just made it 3-0. You've got to say that's terrible defending. Is that me? Is it Ben me? Because he may as well have said bend me over to Salah there because he's absolutely screwed him. I mean, that's just not good defending at all. I don't know whether it's fair to say that that's Ben me because I couldn't see which defender it was, but Salah is back 3-0. It's a long ball by Kelleher. A flick by Gakpo. I don't think it is Ben me. No, it's not. It's not. It's what's his bloody name? What's his bloody name? Yeah, it's crap defending, that is. That's that. How not to defend by Azure. That's it. But, game over there. Salah is back, says Matthew. Well, I tell you what I will say. If you've got Salah in your FPL, well done. I never knew he was even going to be back. Was he meant to be back? Jack's captain Salah. Mark, your favourite English football commentator, says Arthur Morgan. I don't really listen to it anymore, so I'd have to go with one of the blasts from the past and say I liked Motson, if I'm being honest. Rest in peace. And Barry Davies, I liked him as well. Having a chat with a mate who is a Spurs fan, if you could sign 3 players from them this summer, who would they be and what's your best dance move? says Payne. I haven't done any dancing in years. Alex G says, busy day, Mark. The work you put in is crazy. Respect. Saturday's always a write-off football day for me at the moment. I don't think it will change, really, until I retire. I mean, like, I'll tell you what, I have got Kelleher, so I would like to see Liverpool get a clean sheet here, because I never get, I don't know about you on FPL, but I never get clean sheets. Right, 3 players I'd take from Spurs. That was the question. I'm not going to ignore it. I would say that I'll go Son. I don't want to do this too quickly. I will go Son, Van der Ven, and I like Basuma. It's a great question, that, though. Thank you very much for that, Payne. Yeah, I'll go Son, Basuma, and Van der Ven. I like those players. I do like Maddison, but if you've been watching this channel long enough, I've always been a big fan of Basuma since, you know, the Brighton heyday. So, hey, there's plenty of others out there. There are. You know, I agree with the Maddison thing. Busy day, Mark. The work you put in respect, says Alex G. And Mark M. Park says, Mark, where do you find the energy to work so hard? United Stand, That's Football, in the podcast. Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I wish there was more hours in the day, and sometimes I wish there was 2 of me, because I could do a lot more, but you can only do so much. But the passion comes from the community, really, and the desire to do it. I mean, really, United Stand and That's Football is enough. But we started the podcast, and free kick on the edge of the box for Brentford here. Maybe this clean sheet's not going to happen. But we started the podcast because people said do the podcast, so we did the podcast. I enjoy doing the podcast, and you know, now we've got the Goldbridge arms. It's just you get drawn in, don't you? Has he given this as a free kick to Liverpool? Tony wanted a penalty. Seen him given for that outside the box, to be fair. Do you think any of the big 6 will be relegated in your lifetimes as the Football 454? No. So, how did they not get the free kick on the edge of the box? I don't think it was a penalty, but I thought the Liverpool player fouled the Brentford player on the edge of the box. I'll go back to that. So this is it. I'm watching this back in real time. So love the podcast. Listen every Tuesday and Friday on the way to work. Will comes across as a great guy, says Darren. Yeah, I really like Will, which is a good thing because I do a podcast with him. Some exciting stuff going on with the podcast, and a lot of it will cross over onto here because now we've got the pub set. We'll be able to do a lot of content additional to the podcast. So, you know, some more in-depth debates and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's not a penalty. It's this chance on the edge of the box. That's a foul by Endo on the edge of the box. Why did he give it to Why did he give it to Liverpool? It's like the Brentford player knocks it away from Endo. What the fuck has he done? What's Michael Oliver? And he booked the Brentford player. Sometimes think Michael Oliver refs a different game. It wasn't a penalty. I don't think it was a penalty, but there was a foul on the edge of the box that was a Brentford foul, and he booked the Brentford player for it. What a save by Kelleher. Can't save the follow-up. Tony's there again. FPL. Bastard. Needed a clean sheet. 3 in 3. I tell you what, the subs have really worked for Brentford, though. That's a good save from Kelleher, but he can't do anything about that. What a finish by Tony this is. It's a good shot. That's a really good save by Kelleher, but the second one, he ain't going to save that, to be fair. The only thing you'd say about the keeper is that he palms it into danger. But that's Tony. Is that 3 in 3 or 3 in 4? Well, 15 minutes to go. They're playing a lot better since they've made these subs, Brentford. As I said, at 3-0, I think it flattered Liverpool a little bit. I think Brentford could have got something out of today. Thanks for everything you do. You're a real one, says Power Back. Thank you very much. Darren Maguire as well. Do I think any of the top 6 will get relegated in my lifetime? No, they've got too much money. I mean, Man City... Well, actually, can I just reassess that? Man City could get relegated in the next 2 years if they get done. But look, other than the 115, I don't think any of the top 6 would legitimately get relegated for not being good enough. 4 in 5 for Tony, says Zach. Just shows you what... I mean, look, obviously, I don't think Brentford are going to get anything out of this game, but it just shows you what a difference it means. I mean, basically, Brentford have been playing over half the season without one of the best strikers in the league, so it makes a big difference having him back. He's also playing for a move, isn't he? So for Brentford, it's... I can't believe anybody ever thought Brentford would go down anyway. I mean, they wouldn't go down with or without Tony. They're too good for that, the way they're organised. But with Tony in the team now... absolutely no chance of going down. No chance at all. But it's been a war. It has been a battle for Spurs, for City, for Liverpool, because they've lost some players. We don't know the extent of the Núñez injury, and we don't know, obviously, the Jota and Jones have gone off as well. So a win, a much-needed win, but at what price? Alisson injured before this as well. So Liverpool could have lost 4 players this weekend. Still 12 minutes to go here. Liverpool pushing. I reckon we'll get some more goals. I've lost my live chat again. You bloody idiots. You're a bloody idiot, Goldbridge. There you go. Tony should go to Manchester United because you want a striker, says Reese. It's not that simple. It'll cost 60, 70 million quid, and we've got Rasmus. We need a striker that's happy to, you know, not start every game. I think Tony at his age wants to start every game. Hi Mark, what if Ten Hag showed up at the Luton game dressed in a full kit, just like your coach was in FIFA? Keep up the great work, says Swerve in Doon. As long as we win, I don't care. Let's have a quick look at the stats here, actually. %63 possession, equal with the shots, more or less equal with the shots on target. Still no corners for Brentford. There's a question for you. I'm not really mad into stats, as you know. I find it interesting in relation to shots and everything like that. But Brentford have had a lot of chances, but they've not had a lot of corners. Is that normal? Does that tell you about how Brentford attack? It's not sustained attack. It's sort of counter-attacky shots from the edge of the box sort of thing. Not very accurate. Why are they not getting many corners? Connor says it's a Liverpool defensive tactic. I don't think you can... I think you can play... It's a great point. I like it, Connor. I don't think you can prevent corners as a defensive side easily. Because shots in the box, you're probably going to win a lot more corners. Because if it's not on target, it can deflect off a defender. High line can stop teams getting into your box as much, I agree. Who's going to win Love Island, Mark? Says, I didn't even know it was on. Do you rate Nico Jackson? Says Rupert, I'll rate him if he scores a winner tonight. Is there a ton of pigeons on the pitch? Says Ike. Yeah, I've just seen a load, yeah. Mark, would you rather get stung by a Portuguese man of war or a bullet ant? Also, would you take Mourinho for the England job? I would definitely take him for the England job, Matt. I don't know. I've never been stung or by either of those people. So what's best? Tony should go. I've done that one from there. I've done that one as well. Okay, thank you very much for your super chats. Make sure you subscribe. Nice ball into Diaz, into the box. And... I don't know whether Michael Oliver's going to give a penalty for this. Let's have a look. Well, that's just a pure dive. I think he should book him, shouldn't he? Well, he's not going to book him because you can't book on... Oh, no! He did catch him on the foot. It's a penalty, that is. Kicks him on the foot. Watch the trailing leg. He kicks his foot. I don't think they'll give it, but he does kick him. No penalty play on. Seen him given. You can't give a penalty for that and then not give the Tony one, to be fair. Harvey Elliott comes on. Joe Gomez comes on. Ian Moore says contact does not mean penalty. That's true and wrong. I mean, why I'd say you're wrong there is that who knows how... At the end of the day, it's a reckless tackle by the defender. He's gone to ground and he has made contact with Diaz. It's a guess whether it's a penalty or not, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know whether it's a penalty. You don't know whether it's a penalty because none of us know how hard he kicks him. If he kicks him quite hard, it's a penalty. If Diaz has made a meal of it, it's not a penalty. But we don't know. It's very difficult. It's very subjective to say that's a penalty or not because it's the same as the Tony one. Did Robertson come into him powerfully enough for that to be a penalty? And this is the problem you end up with the current PGMOL. So much of their decision-making is game-to-game subjective. You know, at the Etihad tonight, if Foden gets a contact like that, I guarantee he'll get given as a penalty. Start, bench, sell, Anthony Taylor, Michael Oliver or Pearl Turney. Matthias, they're all not even getting sold. They're getting deported. Who wins in a fight, Ant or Deck? Who's the one? I don't know. Who's PJ? PJ will beat Duncan. Who's Ant and Deck? Who's Ant or Deck? If it's PJ or Duncan, PJ wins. But I can't remember who Ant or Deck is. Another sub for Brentford. PJ is Deck, says Owen. Yeah, well, Deck would Deck Ant. No. PJ's not Deck. I think PJ's Ant. Oh, here's Diaz. Oh, my God. It could be... Well. Brentford's defence is shocking today. Absolutely shocking. It's the same as Collins this time. I mean... absolute shite. Look, Liverpool fans, 4-1. It doesn't reflect the score. It doesn't reflect the game to me. I think this has been a 2-1, 3-1 at most, 4-1. It's terrible defending. It's a lovely... I mean, Liverpool's finishing has been clinical. That Nunez goal in the first half, the Salah goal, this goal by Gakpo is a great finish as well. Look at the composure, the curl on it. You're not saving that. But the defending by Brentford on goal 3 and 4 for Liverpool has been dreadful. You defend like that, you're going to get beat. What's Liverpool's next game, Mark? Well, they've got... For Liverpool, they've actually got games that, you know, with all the injuries that they've got, they're coming at a bad time because they've got Carabao Cup next Sunday at 3 o'clock. They've got Anfield Luton on Wednesday, which you'd fancy them to win that, wouldn't you? They're still in the FA Cup as well, so they've got some tough games coming up. They play Wednesday against Luton, Sunday against Chelsea at Wembley, then Wednesday in the FA Cup, then Forest away on the following Saturday afternoon, and then the following week they've got Man City. Ivan Toney's about to take a free kick here. That's gone wide. Yeah, next Sunday, it's all about the Carabao Cup. There's no good games going on. I'm doing a watch-along for that, of course, a week on Sunday. Carabao Cup final. Max wants a Diaz goal. Has he had a goal yet? No, has he had any... Sorry, not a goal. I know he hasn't had a goal. Has he had any... Has he had a... How many assists has he had? He got an assist there, didn't he? Heffen's a Chelsea fan, defender, and he's dreading later. You know what? I mean, I'll be back later for a Chelsea Man City watch-along. Looking forward to it. But I've got to say, Chelsea at Villa played really well. And it might suit Chelsea. I mean, they're underdogs, but I watched Man City against Everton, and if Everton had had an outlet, I think Everton could have got something from that game. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that Chelsea make it closer than people think. I still think Man City win it, but Chelsea could shock us and get something there. I mean, I don't think they will, but I think it might suit them. I don't think Man City are firing on all cylinders at the moment. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I think they're very experienced and they know how to win games, but I don't think we're seeing vintage Man City at the moment. Free kick on the edge of the box for Liverpool. Demolition job for Liverpool. But it almost has been a bit of a demolition, hasn't it? Because they've picked up the injuries. Keelan says his FPL is falling apart. My FPL looks a little bit like this. I had to take Porro out and I had to take Kuna out because they were both injured. I've got 3 points. I think Kelleher's got me 3 points today because he's made 4 saves. Your bonus points, if you've got any Liverpool players, are going to be... Well, Gakpo's got 39 and he came on as a sub. Tony, Gakpo and Salah. No, Tony's not getting bonus points. McAllister. It's Gakpo, Salah and McAllister are your bonus points. My team today, I've got Kelleher in goal, Senesi, Saliba and Estebanan, De Bruyne, Garnacho, Saka, Son, Watkins, Haaland and Solanke. I couldn't afford Tony. Oh no, it's not going for a corner. Sean says Tony's criminally overrated. Well, you know what? It's not my problem because I don't think United will buy him, but I do think it's somebody else's problem. You know, is Ivan Toney overrated? Does he just suit a Brentford system? Would he suit a possession-based team? These are the questions you've got to ask if you're looking to buy him. Who's your captain for my team at Haaland? Tyler says, what's for dinner? Well, I've got to have it before 5 because I'll be working through till 9. Goal! Saved! Oh, he's made another save, Kelleher, there. I mean, it's not really worth it for the points. Another free kick. 7 minutes of added time. I thought this was a goal for Brentford. Would have been Tony off his arm. Should have been a goal there. Ben Mee. I got very lucky having Kelleher in goal because I had him from before as a cheap, never going to play reserve goalkeeper. And then I saw that Alisson was injured, so I swapped him in. And he should play 2 games. We're only 10 subscribers away from 106,000, so please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Ivan Toney with a free kick straight into the wall. And I think that's Brentford's first corner of the night, of the day. Faris says, I think City against Chelsea would be a draw. Oh, I'd love it. I'll love it. I'll love it if it's a draw. The more points Man City drop, the better for the title race. And if Arsenal are going to win the league, they need Man City to win, win stuff. Do you think Spurs are still in a title race? No, not really. Somebody just said it there. No, they're 10 points off the top. Game in hand, 7. No, I think technically they're in a title race, but they'd have to win virtually every single game, which I don't think they'll do. They've got a massive game, Spurs. Not quite yet, but all I'll say is 10th of March, Villa at Villa Park, 1 o'clock on a Sunday. That's going to be a cracker. I think I'll tell you what, Villa have got a massive game at 3 o'clock. There's some interesting 3 o'clocks to keep an eye on, actually. But as I said, Brentford beaten 4-1 here. It's not been a 4-1 game. It's actually been a very good game, but defensive mistakes by Brentford, lack of creativity in the final third. That's been the difference. On another day, this could have ended up just being 2-1 to Liverpool and a lot tighter. I think it's been played out like that, but Liverpool have been clinical. Brentford have been, unimaginative in the final third for a lot of the game, and defensively, they could have stopped 2 goals. Still 3 minutes to go here. Liverpool back on the attack again. This keeper's got that. Cad says, who do you think will be managing Liverpool next season? I'd be surprised if they don't go for Alonso, and I think it's the right thing to do. Who would you prefer to win the league, City or Liverpool, says Sammy? Man City. Because Liverpool are Man United's biggest rival, and it means something. Whereas Man City, whatever happens with Man City, I still feel they're very manufactured. Whereas Liverpool, I really feel that rivalry. It matters. It gets at me. So Man City, yeah, it's annoying, but I just don't feel a genuine rivalry there. It just feels very manufactured. Whereas with Liverpool, all my life, it's been this big, massive rivalry. So, but Man City winning the league is not a nice outcome. It's not like, oh, thank God Man City have won the league and not Liverpool. I mean, 4 times in a row. It's not, it's different. It's still a shit sandwich. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not like, oh, I really hope Man City win the league. I don't want them to win the league either. Ideally, Spurs win it. I mean, Arsenal's not a great one to win it. I'd take Arsenal over Man City and Liverpool, of course I would. But that would be quite nauseating as well. T.I. Anfield says it's better for football if Arsenal or us win it. Well, in a way, you're right. That's why I'd rather you didn't win it, because you're more credible than Man City. Your rivalry means something to me more than Man City. So I don't want you to win out of pure tribalism. I'm jealous of Liverpool. I don't like Liverpool winning the league because they're our biggest rival. But you're right. That doesn't mean you're right. There's more credibility to it if you win. Well, definitely there is, because it will bother United fans more, or the majority. We're into the final 30 seconds here. So I'll be back with you just after 5 o'clock. Oh, Van Dijk's at the bar. Didn't have him in Goldbridge this week, so can't remember who I did, actually. Anyone remember who I had in Goldbridge this week? I don't remember. I can't remember. I know I had Maguire and Onana as my defending scorer and my goalkeeper. That's it, full time. So I'll be back with you just after 5 o'clock for Man City against Chelsea. Probably just upload a quick match reaction to this one now. Thank you everyone who spent their time with me. I will see you a little bit later. I've got to go and get some food and get a bit of a stretch on, and yeah, I can't just sit watching football for 9 hours. It's as much as I'd love to. But I will be back with you just after 5 o'clock. Take care, everyone. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you back just after 5. Looking forward to it. Check out the podcast, Goldbridge Saves Football, if you want something to listen to. I have a bit of a stretch and a walk. And I'll speak to you in a bit.